Today's story is about our main character, Miko. When he was small, some augurs killed his parents, after which he decided he would drive all the augurs from this earth. At the beginning of the story, it is explained that when monsters appeared, humans created their own separate kingdoms. They also prepared guards who would prevent monsters from entering. In the current time, we see a scene from a kingdom where Princess Sally is running away from her guards. The guards are chasing her because Sally dreams of leaving her kingdom to go on an adventure, where she can learn about everything and see the world. However, her parents do not want her to be a traveler. We learn that the traveler she runs into is none other than her main character, Miko. Sally asks him not to tell the guards that she is here. Miko says yes. When the guards arrive, they mistake Miko for a girl because he has long hair and is older than Sally. They say they are on watch because monsters are often seen in the area. Miko agrees and points them in a different direction, after which the guards leave. Now, Sally comes out and thanks Miko. She takes him on a tour of her kingdom. Since all the shopkeepers knew the princess, Miko received free goods, which he later gave to Sally. He takes her to her palace, where she feeds Miko delicious food and asks about his story. Since Miko was a traveler, she assumes he has seen the world in a way she hasn't. Here, Miko tells her some of his stories, but also mentions, "Your palace and kingdom are so peaceful. It's everyone's dream to live in a kingdom like this, and you are a princess." Sally says that her dream is to get out of there. She will leave because it feels like a prison to her. It was now night, so she goes to her room. We then see a view from far away showing a monster keeping watch over the palace. The next day, Sally goes to meet Miko again. When she reaches his room, she sees that Miko is changing his clothes and is surprised to see that he is a boy. All this time, she thought Miko was a girl. After this, while leaving, Miko told her about his travels and the rest of his story. After which Sally says that she is now very confident. She feels that if a boy like Miko can travel, then why can't she? To this, Miko says it's a good point. Sally then asks if she can join his team, but Miko gives her a warning. He says that his journey is very dangerous and that it's possible she could die. Sally gets scared when she hears this, but he tells her he was just joking. We are then shown the king sitting in the main hall of the palace. A monster comes to meet them. It's the same monster we saw keeping watch. This monster says they do not want to fight. Because of this, they demand 30 human bodies every month, which the king must provide. Otherwise, the monster himself will kill the people. The guards surround him, and one guard attacks. The monster kills him and says that his body count will not be reduced from the total. The king tells him that he will think about it and give an answer later, after which the monster leaves. As Miko and Sally are going out, they see the monster leaving. Upon seeing Miko, the monster becomes very frightened and runs away. Miko notices him and smiles an evil smile. In the next scene, the king calls Sally over and tells her to stay in a safe place. Just then, they hear a sound. Sally immediately runs outside and sees many monsters. These were all monster augurs, led by Yaki and his brother Moki. Yaki tells his brother that the boy who destroyed their city is inside this palace. In the meantime, Miko comes out by himself. He sees these augurs and is very happy, wanting to fight them. Moki was also very happy because he could now get his revenge. Sally comes and tells Miko to move away because the monsters are very dangerous, but Miko wasn't paying attention to her. He comes forward and introduces himself to Moki, who also tells him his name before attacking. As he was punching, Miko took out his sword and cut off his hand. He then takes the braid from his hair, ties it on his head, and moves forward attacking all the augurs. He kills everyone one by one. I understood from this that Miko is a person whose sole purpose is to destroy monsters. He asks Moki, "Who are you?" But Moki, without answering, finishes him off. Then he turns to Sally, who looked very surprised. We see a dog come out from inside the palace. He goes to Miko, after which he and the dog leave. Sally tries to stop him, but Miko ignores her. Sally was about to follow, but her attention returned to the augurs' bodies, and she stops, scared. The scene changes. We see that Sally still had not forgotten Miko even though a full month has passed. Sally, determined to go on an adventure, comes to talk to her father again. This time, she has also cut her hair to show how serious she is. Seeing this, her father says yes. She is very happy. Her father asks her what her plan is for this adventure. Sally says she doesn't have one now, but will figure it out later. After this, Sally gets dressed in her adventure clothes and leaves. After traveling for some time, she reaches a forest where she finds a strange human-like rabbit lying unconscious. Sally ignores it and starts to leave, but then the rabbit's stomach makes a sound. Sally has to stop. She takes out a carrot and feeds it to the rabbit as it regains consciousness. It turns out she is a girl. First, she thanks Sally and then tells her that her name is Bunny. Sally shows her a photo of Miko and asks if she has seen this boy. The rabbit girl says she hasn't seen anyone like that. Sally has to continue her journey, but the rabbit girl, Bunny, is ready to walk with her because the journey ahead could be dangerous. The rabbit girl says yes. After some time, they reach a small village. When they enter, a villager is not happy to see Bunny because the people of that village, who were demi-humans, did not like her. The man immediately asks her to leave, although he was talking to Sally nicely. Sally doesn't like this and doesn't go inside the village. However, she had to come inside, so she covers Bunny's face with a cloth to hide her. They enter the village, and this time they meet the lord of that village. He was talking to them nicely because he did not yet know Bunny's reality. The lord sees a lot of carrots nearby and comes forward happily. Bunny's face was now visible, but the lord had no reaction. He understood that both of them were travelers, so he tells them that if they want to stay the night, they can stay at his house. In the next scene, it was already night and both of them had come to the lord's house. The lord shows Bunny her room. Later, while taking Sally to her room, he tells her that their region was once a kingdom of monsters. They used to come and attack them anytime, causing many of their people to lose their lives. Then, a traveler came and killed all the monsters. When he tells her about the traveler, Sally understands and asks if it was Miko and if he could tell his address. The lord says no, he doesn't know, because the boy had gone in no time and he hadn't even been able to thank him properly. This is why he welcomes every traveler so well. Sally then asks him why, if he understands so well, he doesn't treat demi-humans the same way. The Lord says demi-humans are no less than monsters. No matter how good they behave in the beginning, in the end, they are bad. Sally tries to explain, but he ignores her. The next morning when Sally wakes up, she hears a voice and immediately comes out. Outside, she meets a demi-ogre who is attacking the humans. She's scared after seeing it. He was also going to attack her, but at the right time, Bunny arrives and kicks him twice, putting an end to the demi-ogre. Outside the village, some soldiers have just noticed all of this. Back in the village, Sally is thanking Bunny, but the rest of the villagers look very scared after seeing Bunny's power. The village lord comes there and asks Bunny and Sally to leave. Later, Bunny suddenly comes forward and says thank you to the village lord. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Later, Bunny and Sally leave and are now in the forest. After walking a short distance, they are met by the soldiers who were watching the village. Without saying anything, the soldiers arrest them. In the next scene, they are in jail when the captain of the soldiers arrives. His name is Hawk. He comes and gets them out of jail. At first, Sally was asking why they were caught. Hawk says that Bunny is a demi-human and her strength could be a danger to others, which is why she was caught. Sally was caught for being with her. Sally asks, then why are you letting us go? To which Hawk replies that he talked to the villagers who told him that Bunny had not caused any problems and that her nature is great. Hawk found out that Bunny is not bad, so he's leaving to apologize. He also gives them treats and brings them to the Rimdari kingdom where he is a captain knight. As they were roaming around the kingdom, they see two monsters outside. Both were ogres. The big monster's name is Jade and the girl's name is Mary. Both are planning to attack the kingdom. There was a huge and strong wall, but to break it, Mary uses all of her strength and destroys one of her ogre eyes, which makes a hole in the wall. Now Jade could move on, but because of using so much power, Mary's strength had gone and her size had become small, so she stayed there. Jade decides to go in and kill the soldiers. When Sally sees Jade, she seems very surprised, and Hawk, seeing her advancing, pushes her back and tells her to stop. But Sally was no longer in control. Jade was about to attack her, but in the same moment, Bunny arrives and pushes Jade away and asks her to leave. Suddenly, Sally regains consciousness but refuses to leave. Hawk tells her not to and asks the people around to go away because there is a lot of danger. On the side, we see Jade laughing and then starting to attack. Bunny is using her full strength, but Jade is much bigger than her, so her attacks have no effect and defeat seems inevitable. Sally, watching this, comes and shouts Bunny's name loudly.
After that, a lot of strength came inside Bunny, and she got motivated and started attacking again, but it was of no use. Jade threw her down again and she fell beside Sally. Sally appears in front of him. Zed says that he will kill them both, but Sally doesn't move away. Suddenly, she feels a hit in her body and her eyes start to glow just like Miko's eyes glowed in the beginning of the story. She doesn't even realize it and immediately cuts off one of Jade's arms, and she also has an evil smile on her face like Miko.
Now, the scene changes and we see Mary outside, sitting at the base of a tree, waiting for Jade to return. Then, Miko emerges from behind the tree. He asks if she was the one who caused the explosion. Mary, surprised she hadn't sensed Miko's presence, is nevertheless happy. Until Jade returns, she has found someone to pass the time with. She moved her hair aside and uses her augur eye, felling the tree with a glance. Although Miko feels no pain, he understands that she too is an augur. He already knew this because the horn on Mary's head, which contained her power, was a clear sign. Miko says, "Look, I don't want to kill you. I just came to talk." We're back inside the kingdom. We see Jade laughing out loud at Sally. He seemed thrilled to have another opponent. He then turns to punch Sally again, but Sally catches his hand. Jade is completely stunned. Outside, we see Miko and Mary. Mary asks Miko if he is a famed traveler who kills monsters, to which Miko replies that she already knows the answer. Next, Miko asks her, "Why are you and your friend killing the people of this kingdom?" Mary explains there's only one reason. Humans created their own kingdoms, completely disregarding monsters and other creatures. She says, "I am either a monster or an augur. I have no problem with them, but we still have no place to stay. All the humans took our land, and I want revenge for this." As she speaks, she returns to her original form, her power fully recovered. She summons all of her augur eyes and tells Miko that he is a threat to them and must now die. Miko ties his braid back, declaring he is ready to fight. "If that's the case, then try me." Inside, Jade is also saying the same thing. "You could become a very big danger for us." So she unleashes a powerful blast, causing a massive blast. On the other side, Mary also hears the sound of this blast, which distracts her for a moment. Taking advantage of this, Miko attacks, slashing her through the middle. He says, "You need me." Although Mary uses magic to turn her body into mist, Miko's sword initially cuts through it before she reforms, completely healed. She says, "You are fighting me, but aren't you going to help your friends who are still alive?" Miko states that his purpose is not just to save people, but to eradicate augurs from this earth. Following this, Miko uses a final spell to destroy her and all of her augur eyes. We're back in the kingdom. We see that when the dust from the explosion clears, Sally is completely unharmed and was standing in front, shielding Bunny. Now Sally draws her sword and defeats Jade, but she becomes unconscious immediately afterward. Outside, we see Miko and Mary. Mary asks Miko if he is the famed traveler who kills monsters, to which Miko replies that she already knows the answer. Mary uses her most powerful attack, the same one she used to break the Great Wall, but we see that it does nothing to Miko. In fact, he doesn't even have a scratch. This reverts Mary to her small form, all her power exhausted. Miko immediately steps forward and holds a sword above her. Mary asks for his name, believing she is about to die, but Miko just tells her his name and spares her. He destroys her augur eye, so now she cannot use that much power. After that, Miko also cuts off the horn that holds the power of the augurs. Miko's dog had arrived and asked him why he won't finish her. Miko says no, he has taken her power, so he has no more business with her now that she's a human. The dog, however, thought that Miko might see himself in Mary. Following this, Miko started to leave. He had also sensed Sally's presence, which is why the dog asks if they should go and meet her. He tells the dog no, "I haven't met my soulmate yet." From this we learn that a piece of Miko's spirit resides inside Sally, which is why her power is activated. Miko and the dog departed. Now we see that a mysterious person was watching this and says that he has now found the man for his job. Later, we are shown Sally. When she regains consciousness, she sees Bunny sitting beside her. Then Hawk also arrives and returns Sally's sword. Sally was asking him what happened to the augur, to which Hawk says that Sally was the one who killed him. Sally was a little shocked and surprised to hear this.
Hawk took them both away from there. He takes them back to the prison again and Sally exclaims, "Are you arresting us again?" To which Hawk says, "No, it's nothing like that." He puts them in a cell and shows them Mary, that this girl was found lying on the other side of the broken wall, and she was an augur. Hearing this, Sally remarks, "She looks human." Hawk explains this monster looks just like a human. He also says it's a monster that likely attacked us, so it should be eliminated, but it is unconscious right now. Once it becomes conscious, we'll finish it. Sally says that she will stay here and watch over her until she regains consciousness, after which Hawk leaves. Once Hawk has departed, Bunny reveals that Mary is not truly unconscious, she's merely feigning it. Now that the secret is out, Mary sits up and confirms that she really is an augur, immediately attacking Bunny. Her power is gone because Miko cut off her horn, so her punches have no effect on Bunny, but Sally thinks she looks cute. Mary is very surprised because her power wasn't working. While trying, she suddenly remembers the scene where Miko had cut her horn. She immediately says Miko's name. Sally is surprised to hear this and asks her to explain what happened. Then Mary starts telling them everything. Outside, we see an augur in the jungle that is growing like a city. Back in the cell, after Mary has told them everything, Sally says, "That's good, your power is gone. Does this mean you are a normal person like a human? Now you don't have to die." Mary says that she is an augur, and now that she has lost her power, there is no point in living for her anymore. But Sally doesn't like this at all. She approaches Bunny and tells her that they need to free Mary from here. On the other side, we see that Hawk is sitting down when his soldiers come and inform him that Mary has escaped and her two friends helped her. Hearing this, Hawk immediately runs out. He runs and finds Sally and Mary as they're passing by. He blocks her path, attacking and knocking them down. After this, all three of them started running away again. The Hawk wanted to stop them, so leaving everyone behind, he tried to get ahead. But just then, someone comes from that growing city and destroys the whole kingdom in a single attack. This event stuns Hawk. He was worried, unable to understand what just happened. In front of Mary, a high-level augur appears, the one who just destroyed the city. His name is Simon. When he sees Mary with humans, he asks, "What is she doing here?"
At the same time, he notices that Mary no longer has horns on her head, which means her power is gone. He says, "Without your horns, you are like a human. You are of no use to us, nor are you an augur. You should die for the sake of your family." Upon hearing this, Mary immediately gets on her knees and says, "As you command." Sally did not like this, so she stepped forward. Simon immediately warns her that what she has done is wrong. Now Bunny also came forward. Sally and Bunny were both ready to fight. Simon begins to attack, but at that moment, someone contacts him through telepathy and stops him. The one who contacted him is named Miraji, the same person we saw watching over the kingdom earlier. He says, "Do not attack Sally. Retreat from there now." Simon has to obey his senior, so he returns. Anyway, the sun was starting to rise and morning was approaching. Sally sees Hawk down on his knees looking at his destroyed kingdom. She immediately goes to him. First, she helps him up and then makes him understand that there's nothing they can do on their own now. They have to survive and take revenge on whoever did this. Hawk agrees. He gets up and says that first of all, they have to find the village because they have nothing to eat and there's no forest nearby. Mary says there's a village near here, but it will take them half a day to get there. After this, they started walking. In the next scene, they reached the village. It was a room. They come to a hotel where the owner, seeing Bunny, was not going to give them a room. But then Hawk steps forward. When the owner sees his face, he recognizes him as the Knight Captain of the Rimdari Kingdom, and so he gives them a room. The group enters the room and then Hawk gives some money to Sally and tells her to get food. When Sally leaves, Hawk was very sad, but Bunny consoles him. After which he was feeling a little better and went to get a drink of water. Mary was also standing there talking to Bunny. She says that you are a demi-human, but you are still very kind. Bunny says that she wasn't always like this. She became this way after meeting Sally. Here, Bunny asks Mary her name. Mary tells her, but then Bunny says, "That's your augur name. Now that you have become human, you should change your name." She holds out a carrot, which Mary also chose for her new name. After this, the scene changes. We see Sally in the market, wondering how she will get food for the four of them.
Just then Miko comes and sits down with her back to her. Sally was very happy to meet him. Miko says that her short hair suits her. He also says that I know that you have learned a lot on this journey. You must have learned some things and endured a great deal. To which Sally says yes, she now knew how badly humans treat demi-humans and dislike them. Miko then poses a scenario. Suppose there's a small child whose parents were killed by a demi-human. Now tell me, what will he do? Sally says that he will definitely hate those demi-humans for some time. But Miko's mood changes and he says no. He will decide that one day he will kill all those demi-humans. Indirectly, he's talking about himself. However, the very next moment, he starts laughing and says that they don't have to do any of those things. After this, we see Miraji in the same village. A little girl comes and gives him a pastry and he thanks her. Irev also arrives and asks him why he stopped him. To which Miraji says that if Simon had fought Sally, he would have lost. But Simon couldn't believe it. We are back here again with Miko and Sally. Sally is now saying that she didn't know why humans and demi-humans hate each other, but she wants all the creatures and species on this earth to get to know one another so everyone can live together. But Miko tells her that it isn't that easy. Sally says that it doesn't matter, she will do it anyway. He leaves and Sally also returns to the hotel. She had brought food for everyone. When she comes in, she sees a little child whose name is Brett. Hawk tells her he's from the same kingdom. When they ask him how he survived, Brett says that a witch from the western forest had helped him. Sally was surprised to hear that and says, I want to meet her too. In the next scene, night had passed. Mary, whose name was now Carrot, but we will still call her Mary, had gone to the forest. She had come to meet Miraji and she finds him. Miraji says that even though she doesn't have a horn, he still considers her an augur. He just has some things for her to do. When Mary asks what, Miraji says Mary has to keep an eye on Sally. Mary is ready to go. Miraji also says try to see Sally's power ones with the help of your augur eye. You will be surprised.
The group arrives at the western forest, where they find a large house-like structure. Venturing inside, they discover it's a witch's house. Just then, the witch, Winnie, appears. Sally introduces herself and immediately begs Winnie to teach her magic. Winnie first confirms that Sally is human. She agrees, but on 3 conditions. First, Sally must prove she is capable of learning. Second, she must always obey Winnie's orders. Third, she must pay a fee of 1 million gold coins. However, seeing their poor state, Winnie rescinds the fee, telling them to just give her whatever money they have. Hawk protests, explaining they're adventurers and have no money. At that point, Sally turns to Hawk and asks him to teach her swordsmanship instead. He immediately agrees. While Sally trains, Mary uses her augur eye to check Sally's power. She sees a dangerous light, confirming Sally's immense power. That night, the group is forced to leave the house, having nowhere to stay. As they camp in the forest, Winnie finds them and offers them an extra room in her tavern. They don't have to pay, so long as they help clean the place. Later, Winnie uses a crystal ball to show Hawk a vision of Sally's true power, including how she defeated Jade. Afterward, Bunny goes to meet Winnie, revealing they are old friends. Winnie presents Bunny with a weapon she prepared for her, a large hammer. Bunny is thrilled with it. In return, Winnie's price is for Sally to perform a magic ritual. As old friends, Winnie agrees to this deal, but reminds Bunny that she still owes her 1 million gold coins from a previous arrangement. The next day, Sally is overjoyed to learn she will be training with Winnie. However, Winnie explains that before that can happen, Sally must first train with Bunny. Sally hesitates, but Winnie reminds her of their agreement to follow orders, so she consents. Mary, watching from the sidelines, realizes that Winnie must know about Sally's power and has a specific reason for this training. After her session with Bunny, Sally spars with Hawk. He declares he'll fight without using his hands, as Sally is still a beginner. During their fight, Hawk quietly speaks with Winnie. He notes that if Sally used the same power she unleashed against Jade, she could easily defeat anyone. When he teases him, "Are you really falling for her?" We don't hear Hawk's reply, but when he returns to the match, he is no longer holding back. He swiftly defeats Sally. "You used your hand," she exclaimed. "You promised you wouldn't." "I used my foot," Hawk replied coolly. "In a real fight, there are no rules. Winning is all that matters."
Watching from a distance, Winnie is reminded of her grandfather, who's been dead for a long time. Hawk's demeanor is just like his. Although Winnie looks young, she is much older than she appears. Just then, the leaders of the elf and lizard clans arrive. They demand that Winnie remove the magical barrier she placed on the forest so they can kill a sleeping augur. The elf leader explains that the augur is a threat to the region and must be eliminated. The next day, Winnie removes the barrier. With the augur able to awaken at any moment, the elves and lizards prepare for battle. The two clans decide that the lizard clan will advance first to kill the augur before it can reach their territory. Hawk objects, approaching the elf leader. He argues that sending the lizards in first is a death sentence, as their poor long-range sight in the dense forest will get them slaughtered. Sally agrees, adding that it's wrong. The elf leader is dismissive. You're right, but this is a clan matter. Our feud has gone on for years. If the augur kills them, it just saves us the trouble of fighting them later. His words infuriate Sally. Suddenly, an augur girl, not the sleeping one, appears from the jungle. She laughs when she sees Bunny, mocking her for losing her demi-human powers by associating with humans. The girl, named Hatsumi, begins to use her enchanted hair to manipulate the group. Winnie is surprised by Hatsumi's appearance, but before she can react, the ground trembles. The sleeping augur erupts from the earth, revealed to be a massive, dangerous tree monster. I'll hold it off while the others escape, Winnie declares, but Sally protests, fearing for Winnie's life. Meanwhile, we see that this was all part of Mirage's plan, which he watches unfold from a distance with his companion Simon. As they prepare to leave, Simon is suddenly grabbed by the neck. It's Miko who tells the shocked Mirage, "I'm no longer just an ordinary traveler." Back at the fight, the newly awakened augur, whose name is Yuki, is furious with Winnie for imprisoning her for so many years. She lunges, intent on revenge. Spurred into action, the elves and lizards agree to a truce. Sally is relieved, declaring, "Together we can defeat her." "Fools," Yuki sneers, "your alliance is meaningless." She ensnares Sally in her roots and lifts her into the air. Bunny rushes to help, but Hatsumi intercepts. "Your fight is with me," she snarls. Just as Miko attacks Mirage, Mirage parries and surprises Miko by stating he doesn't want to fight. Back with Sally, her anger triggers her power. She unleashes a blast that destroys the roots holding Bunny. "I felt that power," Yuki says. "You are a threat to our kind. How can you befriend other species? If you truly want peace, you should kill yourself." Sally ignores her and prepares to attack, but Hatsumi captures Bunny with her enchanted hair. Sally intercepts, slicing through Hatsumi's hair, a feat no one has managed before, as her hair is as strong as steel. Shocked, Hatsumi is left vulnerable as Sally strikes her, knocking her unconscious. "You are weak to her, fallen Hatsumi, and unworthy of our clan," Yuki says. She attacks Sally with more roots, but Sally easily destroys them. "You talk about my power," Sally retorts. "I only use it to protect the weak. It doesn't matter if my opponent is an augur or anyone else, I will stop anyone who does wrong." With that, she unleashes a powerful punch, completely obliterating the tree like Yuki.
The sleeping augur is finally killed. To everyone's relief, Winnie congratulates Sally, thanking her for saving them all. However, Sally, exhausted from using her power, collapses into sleep. The lizards and elf clans both expressed her gratitude. Hawk then notices that Hatsumi has escaped. We see her, badly injured, reach the edge of a forest. That night, back at Winnie's bar, Mary uses her augur eye to contact Mirage. Instead of giving her usual report, she demands to know why he freed Yuki. Enraged that a subordinate would question him, Mirage reveals he met the person who killed Simon. Mary instantly recognizes he's talking about Miyoko and asks how he escaped, but Mirage cryptically says that Miyoko didn't fight. The next morning, as Sally's preparing to leave the bar, she sees Hawk speaking with the leaders of the lizard and elf clans. They have decided to unite and work together. Sally is overjoyed. Winnie tells her to remember this feeling of unity, as it will be important for the work she has yet to do. Sally explains she must continue her journey, as she has realized that augurs are being sent after her, likely to test her strength. She correctly deduces this is Mirage's plan. Hawk, Mary, and Bunny decide to join her.
They say goodbye to Winnie, who must stay behind to run her bar, and ride off on their bike. In a nearby town, a woman is attacked by an augur with large teeth. Soon after, Sally's group arrives. Hawk shares a local story he heard from a guard about a vampire who preys on beautiful girls. He jokes that Sally is perfectly safe, which earns him a beating. As they enter the town, the people react with hostility towards Bunny and Mary, as they are prejudiced against demi-humans. Mary wants to teach them a lesson, but Sally insists her power is not for such things. Mary is hurt by Sally's refusal. Later, while looking for a room, Mary and Bunny go to buy supplies. Bunny mentions needing a hood to cover her face, but she gets distracted by a stall selling carrots. The owner, who also hates demi-humans, throws her money on the ground and tells her to leave. Mary is saddened to see Bunny quietly pick up the money without a word. Back in the room, Hawk tells Sally they shouldn't have come, worrying about how the town's prejudice is affecting Bunny. Mary buys carrots from another shop for Bunny, who is now eating them. Mary asks if the people's reactions don't make her angry. Bunny admits it hurts, but she doesn't let it bother her because other people's opinions don't matter. What matters is that she has friends, and she follows Sally's lead, refusing to hate all humans. Feeling dejected, Mary overhears people speaking ill of her and talking about the vampire. An idea strikes her. Using her augur eye, she locates the vampire and proposes they attack the town together. The vampire, who is also an augur, agrees but must first eliminate Sally, seeing her as a major threat. Mary reluctantly agrees, but Bunny, who had followed her, overhears the entire conversation. She tells Mary they are late and need to go home, her eyes welling up with tears. When the vampire insists their conversation isn't over, Bunny attacks him. Her hammer strikes him, but it has no effect. The vampire lifts her into the air, and just as he is about to retaliate, the top half of Bunny's body explodes. Sally arrives at that exact moment, seeing Bunny's destroyed body. Overcome with grief and rage, Sally's power activates, and she attacks. The vampire uses a mysterious power to block her and capture her. Before he can finish her, Mary attacks him from behind, breaking his hold and freeing Sally. Meanwhile, in the afterlife, Bunny meets an angel named Atla, who remarks that this is the second time she has died this year. Bunny pleads to be sent back, saying her friends need her. Atla grants her wish. Bunny's body regenerates on Earth, but her eyes now glow red and dark wings have sprouted from her back. Filled with rage, Bunny attacks the vampire and nearly kills him. As he falls, the vampire remembers his past. He fell in love with a human woman, but lost control and killed her, embracing his destructive nature. He believed Mary was in a similar situation and feels betrayed that she, an augur, would side with humans. When Bunny regains consciousness, she is back in their rented room. Atla is there explaining that Bunny fainted after defeating the vampire. She assures Bunny that her friends were not afraid of her dangerous new form and brought her back to recover. Atla then removes the power she granted, returning Bunny to normal. Hawk enters just as Atla vanishes and is relieved to see Bunny back to her old self. Later, Sally and Mary are in the market. Mary confronts Sally about her rule of not using her power to attack people, asking why she killed her friend Jade. Sally replies that she had no choice. Just then, they see the same shopkeeper who insulted Bunny. He starts mocking Mary, who becomes furious. Before Mary can act, Sally punches the man, knocking him to the ground. Elsewhere in town, the angel Atlas sees the vampire spirit watching as the townspeople burn his body. Atla asks if he is sad. The vampire says he is finally free for 300 years and has learned that not all humans are bad, remembering the woman he loved who never saw him as a monster. With that, his spirit finds peace and disappears. The fruit seller, though angry, is too frightened by the look in Sally's eyes to retaliate. Sally and Mary leave, and Mary is thrilled to see this side of Sally. Back in their room, Bunny is awake and fully recovered. The group is happy, but when Hawk tries to get Sally to go out, she refuses, worried the kingdom's guards are looking for her after she assaulted the shopkeeper. Hawk dismisses her concerns, saying the man deserved it, and playfully tries to drag her out to face her punishment. The scene shifts to Mikoto and his dog in the jungle. Mikoto senses they are being followed. He turns to find Hatsumi, who tells him she has a disease that has erased her memory, leaving her with only her name. They make camp for the night. While Hatsumi sleeps, Miyoko notices a horn on her head and realizes she's an augur. He draws his sword to kill her, but his dog stops him, arguing that they would be wrong. Miyoko respects the dog's judgment and apologizes. The next day, they encounter a mid-level augur who is Hatsumi Sr. He is furious that she lost her memory after the last battle, and declaring she doesn't deserve to live, stabs her in the chest. Miyoko stands by, unwilling to interfere between two augurs. Hatsumi rips off her own horn, throws it away, and begs Miyoko for help, but he refuses. She collapses.
When she awakens, Hatsumi is bandaged in a room. Miko explains he saved her because she was bleeding too heavily to waste time fighting the other augur. Grateful, she asks to join his journey, and he agrees, not wanting the person he just saved to be killed. She laughs and calls him her best friend. In the next town, a fighting tournament is underway. Hawk participates and wins a match against a weak opponent, much to the amusement of Sally, Mary, and Bunny. Bunny notes that Hawk isn't fighting for money, but to become strong enough to protect them. She then spots Miko in the crowd and runs to greet him, telling him about Hatsumi and that Hawk is also in the tournament. Meanwhile, the mid-level augur reports to Miraji, apologizing for letting Hatsumi escape. Miraji is unconcerned. A small girl named Selena appears and demands the augur carry her on his shoulders. When he refuses, Miraji shows him Simon's severed head, subtly threatening him. The terrified augur complies. They arrive at a gathering of augurs where Miraji displays a map showing their shrinking territory, blaming it on Miko. An old augur urges them to stop him before their clan is destroyed. Most of the others don't take the threat seriously until Miraji presents Simon's head as proof of Miko's power. Todoro, a powerful thunder augur, scoffs that Simon was weak. Miraji then claims Miko also killed Mary. The name Mary piques Todoro's interest, and he vows to kill Miko himself before storming off. After the meeting, Simon's still living head complains to Miraji about being used as a prop, but Miraji simply kills him. Selena then asks Miraji if humans and augurs can be friends. Miraji says it's possible, referencing the vampire story. The next day, Hawk meets Selena, who asks him to help her find Miraji. Charmed by Hawk's personality, she declares them friends. Hawk playfully ruffles her hair, saying friendship takes more than a brief meeting. As he does, he feels a dark energy from her, but she just laughs. Miraji arrives, and seeing Hawk's sword, encourages him in the tournament. Hawk leaves, unaware he has just befriended Selena, the god of masks who destroyed his kingdom. At the tournament, Selena cheers loudly for Hawk from the audience. Outside, Sally runs into Miraji. He claims to share her dream of peace between humans and augurs. Miko appears and warns Sally not to trust Miraji, revealing his high rank in the augur clan. Miraji argues his position makes him the perfect person to enforce peace. Miko gives Sally a choice: join him in destroying all augurs, or side with Miraji's path of diplomacy. Sally chooses Miko, extending her hand and saying she won't let him kill or hate anyone, and she doesn't want to lose him as a friend. Stunned, Miko rejects her and runs off, saying she made the wrong choice. Miraji advises Sally to talk to Miko to understand his pain. She finds him, and he reveals that augurs killed his parents, which is why he has sworn to eradicate them all. Suddenly, an explosion rocks the town. Todoro and his friends have arrived. The tournament organizers announce a bounty of 500 gold coins for the head of any augur, turning the crowd into a mob. Hawk's tournament friend suggests they team up to hunt augurs for the money. Hawk agrees, but as he turns to leave, he is struck by lightning. Todoro appears, mistaking Hawk for the person who killed Mary. Todoro attacks, but Hawk deflects the lightning with his sword. Elsewhere, Miko finds one of Todoro's sleeping companions and moves to kill him, but Miko himself is suddenly knocked unconscious. Bunny and Mary arrive, searching for Sally amidst the chaos. Hawk, realizing he is outmatched, flees from Todoro, luring him into a narrow street. He then ambushes Todoro, knocking him out with a blow to the head.
Miraji finds Sally and suggests she needs to use her power to stop the chaos. Mary confronts Cinco, another of Todoro's companions. Cinco explains they are attacking the town because Todoro is enraged over Mary's supposed death. Cinco decides to kill Mary for betraying their clan. Just then, Todoro awakens. Seeing his horn, which Mary had once covered to help him control his power, is now exposed. He believes the humans tricked him and vows to destroy the entire town. The townspeople are losing their fight against the augurs. Sally tries to activate her power by attacking Miraji, but it fails to manifest. Mary struggles against Cinco, who was a powerful creation of Miraji himself. Hawk is badly wounded and near death, watched from a distance by Selena, who notes the smile on his face even as he is about to die. Todoro unleashes a massive thunder attack on Hawk. Just as the attack is about to hit, Winnie appears and blocks it, calling Hawk a fool for trying to get himself killed. She tells him she came to give him a gift, a real metal sword, to replace his wooden one. Selena, still watching, recognizes the sword as a heavenly treasure. Winnie wishes Hawk luck and leaves him to fight his own battle. Meanwhile, Bunny is fighting a powerful eagle augur. Just as she is about to lose, Atlas power activates within her. In a flash, she severs the eagle's wing and then kills it. But the effort drains her, and she collapses. Mary manages to trick Cinco into getting trapped in the kingdom's defensive wall, then knocks him unconscious. Miraji taunts Sally, questioning how she can unite two clans when she can even control her own power. Motivated, Sally declares she will first clear up Miko's misunderstandings and then return to work with Miraji to unite humans and augurs. Todoro, enraged that his horn is uncovered, prepares to unleash his full power. Mary finds Cinco, who explains he follows Todoro because Todoro treated him as an equal, unlike other augurs who discriminate based on power. Hawk, ready for the final blow, uses his new sword to counter Todoro's ultimate attack, knocking him out again. When Todoro awakens, he sees Mary standing before him, and realizing she is alive, breaks down in tears. Later, Hawk tells Winnie that he almost killed Todoro, but is glad he didn't, realizing they can solve problems by talking. Winnie shows them a map of another country, suggesting it as their next destination. Miko awakens in his room with Hatsumi. His dog explains that he was knocked out by an augur with the power to induce nightmares. Sally invites Todoro to join their journey to the new country. He refuses, saying he can never support humans. As he leaves, Mary tells Sally not to worry, that he is just hesitant. Todoro then meets Miraji, demanding to know why he lied about Mary's death, which led to his friends being killed. Miraji simply says, "Don't worry," and impales Todoro, killing him. With a smile, he tells him he can now relax with his friends in heaven. Sally and her group depart for the new country.
A flashback introduces Hiko, a man who looks identical to Miko. Abandoned by his parents, Hiko wanders a village and befriends a talking dog. He witnesses an augur killing people, and though terrified, fights back. He is shocked to discover he is stronger than the augur and easily kills it. Hiko becomes a local hero, traveling to help others and search for his parents. This journey leads him to an augur island where he defeats the leader. Having given up on finding his parents, he settles down in a house, feeling lonely. One day, an augur begs Hiko to save his son. The augur had a child with a human woman, but lost control and killed her. Now the villagers want to kill the child. Hiko finds the child tied to a tree and, seeing him as a monster in their eyes, decides to take him in. This is how Hiko met the child he would name Miko. Back at his house, Hiko kneels before the boy, confesses that he killed his father, and offers the boy a sword to take his revenge. The child attacks, but he's too weak to even scratch Hiko. Hiko promises to train him so that one day he will be strong enough to kill him. The dog questions Hiko's logic, but Hiko explains he is deliberately giving the boy a purpose.
Hiko raises Miko like a son, teaching him to read, fight, and be strong. A deep bond forms between them. This happiness is threatened by the approach of a powerful augur of destruction. When Miko is strong enough, Hiko tells him he can now take his revenge. Distraught, Miko runs away. Hiko finds him and explains that he wants him to go on a journey to find people who won't hate him and to overcome his loneliness. Miko refuses, wanting only to stay with his father. One day, Miko senses a familiar danger and runs back to the house. He finds Hiko defeated, lying on the ground. Hiko lost the fight with the augur of destruction. As he dies, Hiko urges Miko to take the journey he spoke of. He breaks his own sword and gives it to Miko, telling him to protect himself and the weak. A light emerges from Hiko's body and enters Miko, activating his true power. The augur that killed Hiko attacks Miko, but Miko, now empowered, easily cuts off its hand and kills it. In the process, Miko's own horn emerges, but he destroys it, rejecting his augur heritage. He resolves to end the war between humans and augurs by killing every last one of them. The story returns to the present, with Hatsumi carrying the unconscious Miko. The dog reflects that the hole in Miko's heart, left by Hiko's death, may finally be filled by the new friends he has found.